What's up guys, Ryan here from MudGunner, and today we're going to be talking about my top 5 favorite rifles that I personally own. And yeah, I think everyone has their own personal favorites, but this is just my top 5. So I'm not saying these are the best guns out there. They're my best guns that I like, but your favorite guns might be different. So let's get into it. Before you watch this whole video, you should comment down below and guess what my top 5 are. Maybe post your top 5. But I'm going to be going from last place to first place, but I mean, they're all great guns. So I'm not saying any one is bad. And all these guns that I'm going to show you started out 100% bone stock when I purchased them. So any upgrades or any accessories that are on there, I've been building them up over the years. So what makes me happy is that all these guns started bone stock and I built them to fit what I wanted them for. So that's pretty cool. So let's get into it. Number 5 on the list is going to be the Sig Rattler. And it's hard to say this is number 5, but honestly, it's got to be number 5 on my list because I have other nice 300 blackout guns, but what this is for me is kind of just my smallest 300 blackout setup. It's got a Q half Nelson suppressor on here, Surefire Light, EOTech, and it's got Knight's armament sights, and it's kind of my LVAW clone, or low visibility assault weapon clone. That's just a military clone of a 300 blackout SBR Rattler. So this started out life as a factory Rattler, and I've changed a lot on it. Also with this video, I'm not going to break down every gun into like complete detail, but I have videos of every single gun you're going to see on today's video. So if you want a more specific video on that gun, check out my channel. I've been posting every single day. Today is day 183 in a row of posting a daily video. So I've been working my butt off, but yeah. So the Rattler would be coming in at number 5, but again, it's still a sweet setup. It's hard to say this is like the 5th favorite gun, but yeah, it's probably my quietest gun at the moment. It's really tough because this Q half Nelson suppressor is extremely quiet. I was originally running a Sig SRD 762 suppressor on here, but I moved that over to my Virtus chambered in 5.56. But yeah, that would be number 5. Again, Sig Rattler, and this is an SBR, so it does have to do a $200 tax stamp on the gun and the suppressor. So let me show you guys number 4 now. So number 4 is actually number 1 for my collection, and what I mean by that is this was my very first gun ever. It's a Daniel Defense V5 SBR. It started out life as a 16-inch barrel, and then just over the years I've changed a lot on there. Now it's a 12.5-inch barrel SBR, but it's a factory Daniel Defense barrel, so I took their 16-inch barrel out, put that 12.5 in there, changed the rail. It's had a variety of different EOTechs on there, but the final setup is the EXPS 2-0 with the G33 magnifier on there. And yeah, it's a pretty nice setup. I got the Surefire Scout Light Turbo, mostly Daniel Defense furniture on the vertical grip and the stock, but we got a BCM pistol grip, Radiant Safety Selector, Geisley trigger. This has the HK MR556 mag in there. It's a steel mag. I just think it looks really good. And then it's got an old BCM charging handle on it. So that was my first like extended charging handle, so I've never felt the need to upgrade it. But yeah, very nice setup. It's also set up to run my Silencio suppressor. This was my very first suppressor, which is why it doesn't match. I really like flat dark earth stuff, so my first gun wasn't flat dark earth, but my first suppressor I really wanted it to be. So yeah, very first setup. It took like years to do this. This wasn't just overnight, but yeah, it has to make it on the list. It comes in at number 4 because it's not my main shooter, but I'm gonna own this gun for the rest of my life. So it's very special to me, has a lot of sentimental value. It's not my like highest end AR, but I mean, it's built exactly how I would want any AR built. So very happy with it, and it's been a very good setup over the years. So that's number 4. Let me show you guys number 3 now. All right, for number 3, we have the FN Scar 17, which is a 308. This is a pretty sweet setup. It wasn't my first 308, but it's been my main 308. So I shoot this gun pretty often. I at least try to get it out every other range trip if I can, or once a month, but 308 is a little bit more expensive to shoot. It's a bigger round, but it's a super sick setup, very iconic gun. I'm running a Trijicon ACOG on here. This is a 3.5 by 35. That's what's been on there since day 1. Recently, I put a Trijicon RMR on a 45-degree offset mount. We have a Modlite Hog on a Surefire pressure pad over here. It's got the Kinetic Development Group MRX rail, Harris bipod, also a Geisley trigger, Viking Tactics sling, and then it's also set up to run that same Silencio suppressor. So I'm actually going to be using this in a match next month for the Independence Training IDARM match, which is the 4th of July rifle match. So I'm very excited to shoot this. I've never used it in a match before. I ran a lot of drills with it, but just no match settings. So this is going to be the gun I run for the match, and I'm very excited to use it. It's a very long 308 with the can on there, but super sick setup, and this comes in at number 3 for me. So let me get you guys to number 2. All right, coming in at number 2, we have my lightest AR-15 setup. This is the Q Honeybadger. I've had this for years. I bought it in 2018 when they were first released, and this is my lightest complete AR-15 setup. It only weighs 7 pounds for everything you see here. We got the suppressor, the light, the laser, the optic, the sling, It only weighs 7 pounds for the whole setup. So it's a Q Honeybadger SD. It came with a factory Honeybadger suppressor. I put a Surefire Scout Light Vampire on there. It's got a Steiner i2, which is just a laser. And then it's got a Trijicon RMR on an American Defense mount. And then we have a Wells-made Co sling. And the Honeybadgers have changed a little bit over the years. The very first triggers they ever shipped with were the AR Gold triggers, or the American Trigger Corp AR Gold triggers. Very nice trigger. After this trigger, they went to the Geisley trigger, and now they do their own triggers. It also has the large latch Radian charging handle, which I like that way more than the smaller latch. But yeah, I've had this gun for years, and it's worked really well, and I have a lot of videos on this. So yeah, this comes in at number 2, and if you guys have been watching my channel, you'll probably know what comes in at number 1, so guess down below. All right, you already know. Coming in at number 1, we have the FN Scar 16. So this is a 10-inch 5.56 SBR, and I have been working on this gun for years as well. I mean, all these guns I've been working on for years. Again, they all started out 100% bone stock when I bought them, and I've added everything you see since. This one started out life as a 16-inch barrel. I bought the factory 10-inch barrel and SBR'd it. This year we got a L-can on there and the @PLC laser. I got a Surefire turbo, and then it's got a Geisley trigger, Viking Tactic sling, Tango down grip. This has the Surefire 7.62 mini suppressor, but I also run the RC2 5.56 on there. I've just been liking the 7.62 can because it's a little bit lower back pressure. And then, yeah, I mean, I've kept it mostly stock internal. Still the factory grip, factory stock. A lot of people change that stuff. But we do have the Geisley trigger. I haven't done any adjustments to the piston setup yet. You have the K&S discarder piston setup or the Mototech one. But yeah, I haven't changed anything on there yet. But yeah, this has to be number 1. This goes to almost every range trip, and I love this gun. This was one of my dream builds. I don't play video games as much anymore, but growing up I played like a lot of Call of Duty and stuff like that, and the Scar was always one of my favorite setups, the Scar 16 and the 17. But as an adult, I really like shooting the Scar 16 because 5.56 is way more practical and a little bit cheaper to shoot. So this gun has had a lot of rounds through there. I've taken, I'd say, pretty good care of it. Like, it doesn't get beat up, but I run drills with it. I've run it, I guess not really in match settings, but like just pretty decent drill settings with groups of friends and stuff. So yeah. And I also like CQB stuff. So you notice most of these besides the Scar 17 are all short range setups. I haven't gotten into long range yet, so this is just what's currently my favorite rifles. That could change down the road. I don't see myself ever getting rid of any of these guns, but yeah, as of right now, they are my favorite guns, and I really like, I guess, CQB setups. But I'd like to get into some long range shooting as well. Now I have an off-road vehicle, so now I can get myself to places that I can shoot long range, because before I've never been able to. The furthest I've ever really been able to shoot is like 200-300 yards. So now that I have an off-road vehicle, I'm going to try to get into a little bit more long range. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, these aren't the best guns in the world. I'm not claiming that they're the greatest, but they are my favorite guns, and that's all that matters to me. So I know we all have our favorites, but thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for my next video.